Nerds and geeks, I hope you are ready because we are back at it again. It is the legendary Nerds of the Nerd-O-Roundtable. I was going to say Friday nights, but we're getting it in on a Sunday. Why? Because even though the Lord is resting, the nerds are hard at work to get into who knows what. We got some X-Men 97. We've got Ghostbusters. We've got the Outhouse, aka the Roadhouse remix. We got so much to get into. First and foremost, gotta welcome the crew back to the round table. The one and only Mo Kelly in the building. How you doing, good sir?
It's good to be back. It's good to see all you nerds and nerdettes. We have a lot of shit to talk, and if you can see in my name handle, Roadhouse sucks ass. Let's just put that out there. We'll get back to that in a moment.
Saying the quiet part out loud as usual.
Yes. The one and only Thomas Talking Cunningham. What it do, good sir?
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing out there?
And the Guinevere of the round table who's been fighting to get the nerds back. Get the swords out and let us do battle with all of these conversations. Dr. Liz from the freeway. How you doing, girl?
Hi, strangers.
She's got that lag. I love it.
I know.
All right. I was hoping that either Anthony from Two Cubicles Down or Twitch Master Ryan McBain would be here because I wanted to get their take on X-Men 97. That seems to be the biggest thing that is hitting the nerdverse right now. Everyone has been waiting for this from their childhood to get this series back up and running when Disney Plus first announced it was coming, and it was a direct sequel to where the series left off. Everyone is super excited, except for individuals like me. Why? Because I was not a humongous fan of the X-Men animated series. Why? Because it took way too many liberties and just absolutely bastardizing the comic book that I grew up loving. My garage is full of X-Men. Going back to like 1983, I've been collecting X-Men comic books, and I'm a hardcore X-Men fan. All of the spinoffs, with the exception of X Factor. Wasn't a fan of X Factor, and I didn't really like one other series, the whatever the fuck, the one with Dupe and all them. I didn't like
X-Force.
Yeah, but I didn't like when they went there. I like the old school X-Force, but when it started getting weird, that shit bothered me. But I love X-Men, and I thought that what the X-Men 97 or even the original X-Men animated series did, I thought they did what current Fox does with the films, is that they own the IP, and so they're just throwing out different titles and different storylines and just mixing up what happened in the story, throwing in characters that never interacted. And for me, I'm unfortunately, I'm an X-Men purist, so the animated series always bothered me. I never even finished watching it. I tuned in to watch the first episode of this X-Men 97, and I said, okay, this is boring as shit. The voices sound off. This is silly. The interactions between the characters, like, what am I watching here? But again, I'm way too hard on it. I know it's hard being a purist watching things like this. But Dr. Liz, back in the day, were you a fan of the X-Men animated series?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I
you're
don't like
all
Wolverine's new voice. I don't like Wolverine's new voice.
The voices, the voices aren't great. Magneto's voice is fine. I think Magneto has the right kind of gravitas to carry that character, and Scott's is okay. But the people who, like, you expect Wolverine to have kind of a gruff sounding voice, and it sounds to me, and Rogue sounds like she's trying to imitate the person who did Rogue's Southern accent in the first series. Yeah. But imitating an imitator is just, it just doesn't sound right. And then Gambit, they never get a good,
they never get Gambit right
accent ever. So, you know, the Beast sounds okay. Jubilee, who cares how she sounds? Roberto da Costa, he sounds okay. I will say this. I was not a super fan of the cartoon in 97 because of some of the reasons that you were saying, Twala. I love the X-Men, and anything that kind of cheapened the stories, I didn't really like. And I didn't like that it was kind of a lot of the old school Magneto is just against humans and all. I didn't really go for that. And a lot of Sentinel stuff, and I wasn't as much into the anti-mutant. I understand that was the driving thrust of the whole thing, but that part of it never really appealed to me. And so when I saw this one and it had the exact same opening sequence with those cheesy, corny fonts, I was like, oh, see, this is not going to be. But I will say, by the second episode where Magneto kind of takes center stage, it was a lot better. And that Cyclops landing BS he did with the damn visor shit, I was like,
I've never seen him do that in a comic book ever, but sure.
Listen, that shit was cold as hell.
As much as I don't like the X-Men movies for a number of different reasons, I think the casting of Magneto and Xavier is just so good that it's hard for me to watch at least this Magneto.
Oh, you're talking about the live action versus this?
Yeah, but I mean, just like the way that he has flowing hair.
That's from the comic books, though.
I know, but it's hard.
His new suit, I don't know that I love the new suit, but I remember the new suit for the trial of Magneto. So I didn't like Ian McKellen. I did like the dude who plays the younger Magneto.
Fassbender. Yeah.
Okay. I like him. I didn't particularly care for McAvoy, but of course everybody loves Jean.
Oh, I don't.
So, you know, I think I didn't like McAvoy because of the hair. I didn't like McAvoy because he could walk out of 3 out of the 4 movies or whatever. And I just didn't, for some of the reasons, Twala, that you kind of like didn't attach to it. I didn't attach to the live action. But I got to say, I am anxious to see what episode 3 brings. I am dialed in, and I'm looking forward to it in a way that I didn't expect to be, based on me not really liking the original series and seeing the first episode. And I was like, these character models haven't been updated. The dialogue is still corny. But then by the time we got into that second episode and Magneto had pulled those senators up into the near Earth atmosphere, I was like, okay, see.
Okay. I'll go back and watch it, because literally I got tired when he came in and was like, as you see, if you read Charles Xavier's last will and testament, everything X is mine. Right. And I was like, click, good night. I'm going to sleep.
But he really didn't. He showed a lot more restraint in that second episode, especially dealing with like what he was dealing with. And so I didn't see him as cackling and sinister. I saw him really through the lens of the Magneto who actually did have to step in for Charles when he went away into space, which he was in space, guys. He's not dead. So he's off planet, but he's not dead. So last will and testament and all that shit, I mean, you know, whatever. I like the way Scott is. Scott, for the first time, perhaps, is running it like a boss. And so, you know, it's like I say, I'm anxious to see the next episode.
Now, see, I think this is indicative of your entry point to the series. Mm-hmm. If you were coming from the comic books, you probably didn't like the original X-Men animated series, and you're not going to like this, which is a continuation of that animated series. I was basically introduced to the X-Men through the animated series. And so when I saw X-Men 97, and it is very much in concert with pre-X-Men 97, it's a continuation of the storyline. It's a continuation, like Tom was saying, as far as the font and the animation sensibilities of that time. It's like, yeah, I'm in. I'm right back in. Now, I didn't necessarily like some of the voice choices, but when you're talking 25 fucking years, okay. You know, it sounded like I was listening to Reba McEntire, and I said, why is Reba in this? It's like, oh, okay. You know,
okay, sugar.
Like right. It's like, sounds a little forced. But as far as the story that they're telling, picking up from the quote unquote death of Charles Xavier, yes, I'm all in, because I feel I can go back and watch the first 5 seasons and then, you know, and be really up to date with what's going on, and because I've missed some of the nuances. So I'm good with it, what I've seen.
That's true.
Interesting.
Except I think that the updated Storm isn't isn't great. The look
You
of Storm,
vocally? Oh, look. Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean,
older.
look, I've always liked Mohawk Storm. I liked Mohawk Storm in her black outfit versus I've never liked Storm in the white outfit. Never has
Yeah,
she rocked
I
the white
didn't like
outfit
the
in my
white
life.
outfit.
But when they first introduced Storm with the Mohawk, that was one of the most sold X-Men covers when they first did that. And I loved that Storm because that was around the time of the Morlock massacre and all that, when she really bossed up and you started seeing how powerful Storm was in the comic books. Was around that time, that transformation of her owning herself and saying, like a Solange song, I am not my hair. Look, I don't mind this look. I wanted a little more to me, I don't get their inclusion in Bishop, but again, I did not finish watching the original series. So for me, I'm watching this right now and I'm like, why the fuck is Bishop in this show? What's happening? Bishop was never a part of an X-Men lineup with this team. How is Bishop in this? Why is he just like, let me ask? Okay, so again,
Yeah,
maybe I need to go back and watch the animated series.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask this, Tuala. Why
Yeah.
does this bother you, or did Days of Future Past bother you as well for the same
Oh,
reason?
the movie?
Yes.
Oh, all of the X-Men movies I hated.
Okay,
I
all
absolutely
right.
hate the
Yeah,
X-Men
what Days of
movies.
Future Past was ass.
That was ass. That
Okay.
to me is calling that Days of Future Past is disrespectful to the comic title. It was almost. I mean, if you open up the dictionary and look up bastardization, it's that film. It's like example. Fox's X-Men Days of Future Past. Every X-Men film that Fox put out, the Phoenix saga that they tried to do in the last one,
Oh
all
my
of those stories,
God.
it's like just because you own the rights to the stories, there are certain stories you cannot tell within a film because the comic books, you're talking months of collecting, you're talking crossover. There's way too much that went into every X-Men story. Most hardcore X-Men fans will tell you you cannot do an X-Men film based on any comic story. You just can't. You're going to have to start and just do your own story because all of the stories are so intricately woven into the fabric of who the X-Men are. I don't care which storyline you take, it's not going to be right in a film. Any X-Men story you take is going to have to be told across a series. And so every Fox film, the change that they made in the first one, throwing them in this black leather, all of that just bothered me to no end. And I get that Hugh Jackman is now who we call Wolverine and he's beloved at, but he's not Wolverine. Wolverine has always been a short, stocky, hairy bastard. So you put some tall, suave ass dude. To me, like I looked at that and I'm like, okay, this is a movie. All of those things made it hard for me to watch the movies and actually hate the Fox film universe all that much more. The first time Fox did anything decent and actually comic accurate is Deadpool. That's why I like Deadpool so much. People may not love the Deadpool character, but that character is literally peeled off the pages of the comic books and put on screen from the actor to the stories that they're telling. It's pitch perfect versus all these other ones. It's just like, well, we own the rights to this story. Let's do it. Let's bring in like when they brought in when they did the Origins films and they brought in homegirl Zoe Kravitz to play Zoe.
Oh, she played Angel.
Angel. To me, I'm like,
but that was a different Angel than what's his name Angel. That Angel does exist.
No. I know that Angel exists, but that Angel does not exist in any lineup of X-Men early editions. There is no Angel.
Oh, right.
The Angel that they introduced is way, way, way late into the comic book universe. By the time they introduced that Angel and Beak and all those characters, that's after you get Professor Xavier's twin sister coming back and shit like that. So to me, that's the problem when you have these characters and you put them into a film the exact same as if you have what's his name being killed. To me, that is ridiculous. Shit
I
like
agree
that.
though with Mo
No, I don't
on
know.
this, is that X-Men the cartoon back, with the previous 5 seasons, to me it was like a saga. It was a it was a if you're introduced to X-Men not through the comic books, you're introduced to a cartoon that is like a soap opera.
Hmm.
And it is a literal and it was highly entertaining. Every season connected with each other, unlike some of the other cartoons that kind of would just hop around all over the place. It was an absolute sequel of events. And so it's kind of cool to see that this is picking up exactly where that dropped off.
Hmm. Okay. 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 In on that note, Liz, picking up where exactly where something left off. I don't know. Tom, did you see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
Oh, we're
I have
going
not.
Mo, have you seen it?
I have not.
All right, Liz, have you seen it?
hmm
Okay. If you liked anything
hmm
about the last Ghostbusters reboot film, I can promise you this: you will
You'll
absolutely, positively love Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
All right, I'm in then.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, they go deeper with the connections to the original storyline. This story from the and to me, it's bothersome because the trailers they do not tell the story that's being told in the film.
The
When you watch
trailers
the
are
trailers,
so
you're like,
incorrect.
what? The trailers are so off. They're so off putting because you watch this film and you're like, why do they not do a trailer that better explains what this film is about? There's so much happening in this film and it is so well done. The acting, the storyline, the Easter eggs, the connectivity with the original actors. This shit is great. It was one of the best times in I've had in the movies in a minute. It was fun. And the one thing that was interesting about him, and I think you'll appreciate this, is while there were jokes, Paul Rudd, that's what he does, but
Right.
they were very muted. It wasn't ha 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 all the time, but this film had some serious shit happening. There was almost some jumps and some scares. I was like, oh shit, okay, like there was some of that, some really tense moments, and so I'm like, wow, they kicked it up a notch with this Ghostbuster films. You felt again, this is yes, it's kids and shit like that, but there was tension and it was a serious film. It was serious. The things that were happening were very serious throughout. It was like it started off with like some oh shit, well that was grim. Like is this gonna be a fun film? Because that was really dark.
Yeah, I actually loved it even and the thing I love the most is that it's really introducing kids or younger generation to a series that they probably may not have been as familiar with because it doesn't Ghostbusters doesn't play on television. It doesn't play on repeat like it did, when I was younger. So it's reintroducing them to a whole new thing to where they're absolutely going to want to go back. This movie makes you want to go back and at least watch the first one so that the first Ghostbusters, because I can tell when I was in the packed movie theater
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that the children did not pick up on the jokes that the older so you can completely see the kids response to something and the adults response to something because they'll throw a nostalgic thing not when you expect it.
Yeah. And my daughter, and even my son, they, because I'm always putting them up on the old school, they absolutely loved Ghostbusters. They loved Ghostbusters 2, weren't a fan of the ladies Ghostbusters, but they did like the Ghostbusters reboot. They liked it a lot. That's why we were in the theater, yesterday seeing it. They absolutely, and there were things that my daughter picked up on. There were Easter eggs that she picked up, and she was like, oh my God, daddy, like you didn't respond when like this and that and the other happened. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even remember that. She's like, see, because she had watched it just recently,
Yeah.
like, so there are certain things that if you know the first Ghostbusters film, you will be rewarded by watching this one.
Let me tell you what the best thing about this, and it's the same thing that Super Mario Brothers did. They brought in all the commercials that were taking place at the time. Remember when they used
Yes,
to sell all
yes.
This Ghostbusters had their own cereal. Ghostbusters had like all the game. Like they brought in all the OG commercials into the movie that just like Super Mario Brothers did, which made me even chuckle that much more. But yeah, no, it's a good time.
And those commercials, the way they wove them into the film, is like you remember them when the original Ghostbusters came out and all the hype surrounding it. They brought all that stuff into the film to make it like that much more of reality. It's almost as if they're saying, no, all of this, the Ghostbusters world, it exists. And you know it well because you know these commercials. You know Ray Parker Jr. and the Ghostbusters song. Right. So when you put that in the film, is like, as the thing that people remember about the Ghostbusters, they had a song, you know, say you're like, yo, this is brilliant, brilliantly written, brilliant.
I love that man is going to still continue to make that much more money off of his one song.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, Ray Parker first.
Yeah, more than one.
And Ray Parker owes his Ghostbuster money to Huey
Lewis
and the dudes.
Oh, I want a new drug.
Right. Yeah, he had I Think I'm in Love with the Other Woman, and
yes,
women. A woman needs love just
like you do.
See,
it's known for one song.
No. He's known to non-black folks.
Right. Ray Parker Jr. had a whole bunch of hits.
Liz, we're
80s.
a little bit older than you, and maybe that's why, because we were already familiar with Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah,
and that song
like when he came in and did Ghostbusters,
people knew him.
Yeah, like when he came and did Ghostbusters, we were like, man, they got Ray Parker Jr. in this. You know what I'm saying? It was more of like they pulled him in.
Tom, you got me going now. A woman needs like love just like you do.
We know him for one song.
Don't think she. Yeah,
no, the kids.
He had a couple of songs. You know, he did. He was
as much as this movie was nice. It's a through line. The black girl in this movie who used to be Tyler Perry movies is also in Madam Web.
Is that the little girl?
Mm-hmm.
The sister in this? Oh God. Okay. Well, I'm glad she got this.
Saw Madam Web.
I'm glad she got this because that Madam Web is absolute ass. Absolute 100% ass. You cannot escape it. It's ass.
Oh, we do have a message. Robert from LA wants you to weigh in on this, especially you, Mo, sharing your thoughts on the passing of Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama since the last show.
His passing absolutely shook the anime world to its core. I think every Saturday night, me and my son are watching anime, and every creator, every show that we watch, everyone has tributed or done a tribute to his passing, and has acknowledged him as essentially the godfather of the modern anime. After Speed Racer, it's Dragon Ball, and everyone is definitely singing his praises. And he was relatively young. I mean, this is not an
in his 40s.
No, I think he was in late 50s.
Late 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's it is a loss, and this is the one thing that my grandmother once told me: the older you get, the more people you're gonna lose, and I think that this is more a case of that. So it's it is tough, and hopefully his legacy lives on, as it will, because we know there's Dragon Ball films coming out, Dragon Ball action figures, some more series galore. So that's what you want as a creator. You want your legacy to live on. You want that which you put out into the world to inspire others and to be forever remembered. And I think you can't ask for anything more than that.
Unless you create Madam Web.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna remember that.
No.
Nope.
Yeah. No. From Ghostbusters being an awesome reboot and reintroduction of the franchise to something that, from my understanding, sucks absolute ass, Jake Gyllenhaal's Roadhouse, or some are calling it Outhouse, some are calling it a hole dug in the ground for you to shit in, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't see it yet. I plan on watching it because I have to. As a nerd, we watch everything, even begrudgingly. Shit, I will watch the second release of that damn Zack Snyder Star Wars ripoff when it comes to Netflix next month. It doesn't matter for me.
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon, I saw the new trailer, and to me, I said, this is going to be more shit, but whatever, I will watch it so I can trash on it with an informed opinion. But Mo, you sat through Roadhouse.
Sure did.
You sat through it.
Wait, where do we watch it?
Prime.
I'm not saying I'm going to watch it. Okay. Yeah.
You know,
you will not watch it on Prime.
I'm not.
Go ahead, Mo.
I was kind of reflecting on this, and if you're under the age of 40, you don't have any real firsthand memory of the original in 89. And that's important. If you just come to this movie with no real affinity for the 1989 Patrick Swayze movie, then you'll probably enjoy this as some action, paper brown bag, regular action movie that you're not paying $18 for. And that's okay. But when you stamp the title Roadhouse on it, you are specifically speaking to people like me who know the original, probably love the original, and you're trying to trade on that name and the memory of Patrick Swayze to get people to watch this piece of shit. And it was a piece of shit. And the reason it was a piece of shit is because you took the name from Roadhouse and left everything else. There's no Brad Wesley. There is no intimidating villain.
Hold on. There is no Brad Wesley level villain in this film.
No, there is a villain who's just a rich, spoiled brat. It could be Eric Trump for all we know. There is no Brad Wesley type villain. You don't get any real backstory on any of the characters with the exception of Jake Gyllenhaal's Dalton. And if you know the original, Dalton was a philosophy major. He had a philosophy degree. He ended up doing what he was doing, but he was much smarter and bigger and better than his job. Jake Gyllenhaal is just a martial arts dude, got his ass beat, and he's trying to find his way in life, trying to find some meaning, but he's not all that deep. He's not all that smart, and he can handle people. He's got skills, but there's nothing real deep to the story. And when you go to the original, you know that Jimmy, the villain, the henchman, he has a backstory. You find out. Brad Wesley, you learn about his backstory growing up on the streets of Chicago. Hell, I brought the photomat. J.C. Penney's here because of me. There are no moments like that. There's nothing. And I mentioned that, and I was watching it, and it was kind of reminiscent of the Karate Kid remake, where think about the original Karate Kid. Every character had a personality, was meaningful, even if a henchman or whatever, but all of them had personalities and stood out. This is the same thing here where you have henchmen, and if you remember the 1989 version, all the henchmen had personalities from Tiny all that. Right, you knew that. None of these guys matter. They're not important. There is no Wade Garrett character.
Wait. What are you telling me? There is no secondary cooler.
No, there's no one.
What is this film? Why do you call it Roadhouse?
I'll tell you this. This is one thing I'll tell you. In the movie, Jake Gyllenhaal's Dalton character specifically asked, "So why do you call it Roadhouse?" So that's just the name of the bar.
Wait. Okay, because we know
there's no double juice.
Roadhouse was called a Roadhouse because it was on the side of the road. This is not. Is it at least on the side of a road?
It's on the side of a road, and there's a little small like convenience store, but you don't have any of the real characters. You don't have like Emmett. You don't have in the original. There was the convenience store.
Yes.
And there was a character who ran the convenience store, and he started dating the daughter of the doctor in the convenience store. Okay, all that's gone. There's a convenience store, but there's a younger daughter. He can't date the daughter because the daughter's like 13. So that's out. There's really no everything you loved about the original Roadhouse. If you loved anything, all that shit is gone in this movie. So just like you saw Creed 3, if you're a fan of Michael B. Jordan, that's fine. If you love anything about the nostalgia of Rocky, you're not gonna like Creed 3. So if you're a Jake Gyllenhaal fan or a Conor McGregor fan, you'll probably enjoy the movie. It has action sensibilities, but if you liked Roadhouse, the original, there's nothing for you to like about this movie. It's
so it's
insulting
just
to the
like
original.
Total Recall, where they literally do not go to Mars at all.
It's no Total Recall was still a better movie. If they should have just called it,
you're saying the remake of Total Recall is a better movie?
Than this Roadhouse.
I'm about the remake of Total Recall.
Yes, I'm with Colin Farrell. That was a better movie than this Roadhouse.
Right.
If they call that movie shit somewhere next to Mars, Mars adjacent, that would have been fine. They fucked up when they called it Total Recall. Right. This movie wasn't good enough to be in theaters. It never was. I don't care what the director was talking about. It was never good enough to be in theaters. It should have always been. He didn't even show to the premiere.
I don't understand this trend of taking movies that are somewhere in the consciousness of people in our generation, but weren't actual classics. Like, if you're going to remake something, like, I understand why you remade Dune, right? Because the David Lynch version didn't satisfy Dune purists. And you had this guy, Denis Villeneuve, who is famous enough for his artsy space sci-fi movies.
And the special effects are better now.
And the special effects are a lot better. And so, consequently, I found the movie to be better, both of them to be better. That I understand. Roadhouse is not one of those. It's just like Red Dawn didn't need to be remade. It's like Roadhouse is just not a movie where I'm like, ooh, can we get that done?
But Tom, if I can interrupt you, that's the corollary, because Patrick Swayze, they are cult classics. No one was asking for them to be remade.
Right.
Nobody.
And to put Jake Gyllenhaal in the role, and to see, again, Mo kind of brings out some of the aspects of the original movie, which I maybe saw once, so I wasn't like one of those fans who like would wait for it to come on HBO and I just sit down and pop some microwave popcorn and watch Patrick Swayze kick ass while philosophizing. I just didn't even understand how Jake Gyllenhaal got to be the dude to be Patrick Swayze. Like, if you had cast the dude for Reacher,
right?
Is he at Reacher in there?
Is him in the film?
What's that again?
He looks like Jake Gyllenhaal, though. He was never like.
He's just ripped. That's all.
But he's not smooth. He doesn't have at least the charisma that
Swayze
had.
No, not even close.
Gyllenhaal.
He sounds like Jake Gyllenhaal. He acts like Jake Gyllenhaal. The squeaky voice and all that. There's nothing. Look, and this is better than the whole idea of Ronda Rousey doing the movie. So it could have been much fucking worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was the original. The original was going to be Ronda Rousey. Yeah.
Did they not see her in the other movie with
the Fast and Furious?
Yes.
Well, maybe that's why she didn't end up
right. All I know is you don't remake classics. You don't remake cult classics for this reason. You called it Roadhouse because you wanted people in my age group, Tom's age group, to come see the shit because we like the original. Yeah. And then you come see the remake, and you realize it's nothing like the original. If they at least gone beat by beat,
right,
in a character sense, in a structure sense, I could have accepted that, and then they just updated it. This has nothing connected to the original. There's nothing like the original.
But the original, when you think about the original story doesn't work in 2000 and now. 2000 and now, you cannot have one dude lording over a damn bar. You cannot have people getting arms broken and shot and stabbed and shit in a nightclub and the nightclub still be open in 2000 and now. In the 80s, it was a little easier for that to fly in a small town. There wasn't this thing called the internet. There wasn't, cameras out anytime something happened, anytime, anywhere.
Wait, it's worse than that, Tuala. It's worse than that because he is one of these top MMA UFC fighters in the world, because in it they show him fighting for the championship. Only one motherfucker recognizes him in the whole movie.
You cannot have an MMA superstar
as a bouncer in a bar and not getting sued. Liability. Listen, part of the problem with doing these remakes now is that you can stream the original Roadhouse on somebody's service. Yeah. So you don't, like before, before Netflix and everything else, you wouldn't have really a way except for a VHS tape or a DVD or the Blu-ray Deluxe Swayze Just Died edition of Roadhouse or whatever. You'd have to dig it up. Now you can type in where to stream Roadhouse and you'll be able to watch it the way you remember it and it'll still be perfect to you. You can't just remake shit for the sake of there was this sliver of people who really like Patrick Swayze and they're going to transfer their Swayze love onto Gyllenhaal. Is he going to do Dirty Dancing 4 next? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Some things are just what they are.
Ghost is being remade with Channing Tatum.
Why?
Channing Tatum is doing
I
Ghost.
would like, even though I don't mind watching him.
Oh my God.
Still,
Channing, you
like,
a danger girl.
Yeah.
Like, why would you make that?
That's not even necessary. Why would you?
They're doing
Ghost?
it. Ghost.
It's basically the same year. Roadhouse is 89. Ghost is 1990. It's going to happen.
Where? Okay, so who is the Whoopi character?
That's assuming there is a Whoopi character.
I
You're
have
making
to-
an assumption
What
that the
Whoopi
remake is
character?
going to.
She
What
won
do
an
you mean?
Oscar
Yeah,
She
that's
won
what I asked you.
in Ghost.
Yeah.
You have to have her. I mean,
Well, I mean, look, if you're gonna redo Ghost, if they redo Ghost and they have Whoopi Goldberg come back as Oda Mae Brown again,
I mean, that would okay. I would kind of I might be down for
that. That might work.
I could actually see Whoopi in that role, still doing that role.
Right.
Okay,
right.
That would be the thing that would
That would be the thing.
If you just try to say throw Wanda Sykes up in there because she's also irascible.
Nah.
You know who might could do it? What's her name? Retta from Parks and Rec. She also did what Nice Girls, that thing that where the
I know you're talking about
stealing stuff. I think her name is Retta.
Maybe I don't know her name. I know the face. I know the actor. So yeah,
I think she could pull off Oda Mae.
She could. Jennifer Lewis could.
Jennifer Lewis, yeah.
Jennifer Lewis could.
Jennifer Lewis is too old though. She's always been old.
But she,
I don't know. It's
young enough.
Jennifer Lewis was in Jennifer Lopez's new movie.
You know who could do it? Yvette Nicole Brown.
Oh,
or Yvette Nicole Brown could do it, or the chick who played Kelly on Insecure. I'd love to see her in any.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to have any of those. You know, all this is bullshit.
They'll probably cast Issa Rae. No bullshit. They probably cast like the biggest black name. Or Tiffany Haddish would be kind of like an option.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
anybody's good list at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of shit she's trying to work through.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel so bad for that sister. Outside of that, the only other thing I had on the Nerd-O-Roundtable that I was curious to get y'all thoughts on was the new trailer for the new Star Wars series, The Acolyte, which Disney is not going to slow down. They on Disney Plus at least, they continuously make sure that there is something to watch. They keep dropping stuff. Everyone may not have been into the Percy Jackson, but Percy Jackson was a good series. Way better than that did.
I didn't think I'd like it. It was really good. Carl Lemon was good.
Percy Jackson was good. And Percy Jackson was good because even though it starred kids, they weren't acting like kids. They were trying to play it straight as if they were dealing with the series, which is what they should have done in the Avatar series, which absolute was ass. That Avatar series was ass. I couldn't get into kids acting like stupid kids. The Avatar, I don't know how to water bend. Whatever.
Thank you.
It was stupid, and I didn't like it. I finished it, and I didn't like it all the way to the end.
Twala, but why is it people say, "Oh, the movie was horrible"? The movie was better than that bullshit TV series.
Absolutely, it was, because in the movie they were serious. The kids were not. They played it with a serious tone, and just because they were young, they didn't have to act like kids. That's why Percy Jackson was good. The story maintained, and they did not have a lot of silly kid moments. But that's yet another series that Disney Plus says, you know what, we're going to throw that out. What are we going to do next? X-Men 97, throw that out. What are we going to do next? Boom, out of nowhere, Star Wars, The Acolyte, it's coming next month. And we're like, yo, dude, like, are y'all going to slow down with the dope shit? The trailer is surprisingly is surprisingly for me, I'm gonna say reserved. It almost is like they're not trying to overhype it as like being some larger than life thing. They're like, we are telling a really, really intricate story. And because I was expecting it just to be lightsabers galore and flashes and a whole lot of this. They're like, no. It looks like a mystery series, and that's something I didn't expect from the world of Star Wars. I don't know.
Well, I read some reports and I put it in the chat. The showrunner is an avowed non-Star Wars fan, didn't watch any of the movies.
Wait,
and
what?
I'm being serious.
No. She's not a fan?
Well, she wasn't familiar with any of the Star Wars properties.
She said she's learning.
How'd she get the job?
She's saying she's learning.
They wanted to have...
Wait. She's learning?
That's like having me. Well, I did watch it, but I'm not a Star Wars fan, so having me to be over it is a problem.
They wanted to have someone in the writer's room, as it was pitched, who was unencumbered by all the need for connectivity and Easter eggs at the expense of storytelling.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Good storytelling.
When you say it like that, I understand the impulse. And you guys are a lot larger fans of George Lucas's original vision than I ever was. I appreciate that he built this huge universe. I think that a lot of people in the 70s and 80s, before it kind of turned into a thing that was going to be redone, did a lot of work to advance the universe in very cool and interesting ways. And then he came back and he was like, fuck all of that. That doesn't count anymore. That doesn't exist anymore. It's just my movies and now these new things that I'm making now that are going to be a part of canon. I never really enjoyed him as a storyteller. I enjoyed Empire Strikes Back a lot more than any of the other films because he didn't write it and he didn't direct it. And the guy who did knew how to tell a story, even though it ends on, that very abrupt note. It set the stage for what truly could have been amazing had Lucas not wanted to sell Ewok toys. The third movie might have been even better than it was. But seeing what you can do, like the first episode of Ahsoka told me that there's a place in television to tell Star Wars stories that don't have to have the big scope. The Mandalorian kind of, the quieter pieces of the Mandalorian, introducing these characters that are only vaguely familiar to people who are not devoted fans of the entire universe. You can tell smaller stories set in this thing in a way that, James Bond has been able to create a small universe and just keep telling stories in it. And they all involve big action set pieces, but there's also character development. You have connectivity to other things. And so I think it's a wise choice. And they probably cut the budget because Disney's trying to cut the budget on all their Disney Plus stuff. But they also don't want people to stop subscriptions. So they keep putting out high value properties that are increasingly well done so that people don't cancel the subscription. That's what it comes down to. They're trying to limit churn. And so they're putting out this stuff. And I think it's smart of them to focus on things that they know they can do well. This woman and this story, I don't know where it takes place in the overall timeline. I don't know if it's like pre A New Hope or, where
it is.
So it is. So she might feel a little unburdened. I don't have to know anything about Luke or Leia or Darth Vader. Those people are not going to touch my story. This is the story of this woman or this one character who's, finding her way in this universe. And there's this thing called the Force. She can't be totally unfamiliar with Star Wars.
Not totally unfamiliar, but
she's not a fan, and she hasn't obsessed over the previous movies, and so she's not looking for things that she has to like drop a hat to so that people will say, "Oh my gosh!" So she knows the John, she knows the Williams scores, and so those theme elements are going to be in there, probably like it or not for her. But I don't think that's going to be a fatal flaw in the way that let's say the people who did the last three movies were hated by fans, and these were people who were immersed in Star Wars. And
wait, I got to disagree with that. And I want to respond in the way that George Lucas wasn't a great storyteller. He was a great universe builder. And within the universe, there are the laws of physics of that universe.
Sure.
And then you have people like Rian Johnson, who I don't think was ever a Star Wars fan and didn't give a shit about the laws of physics within the Star Wars universe and did whatever he wanted. And so it didn't make sense to just about anyone. He didn't necessarily have to stay within the realm of Luke and Laura. In fact, he tried to kill them both in the same movie. But there are still things that you want to keep the fans that you have and bring newer fans along. And I do believe the person at the top should be intimately familiar with the laws of physics of the Star Wars universe, because that's how I believe we got the damn last fucking Jedi.
To be fair, there are two people, and no, it's not Star Wars, but Ava DuVernay, when she did that horrid TV show.
Oh, I thought
well, that too, Tom.
On channel CW, and she went in saying, "I'm not a fan of
Naomi."
Oh, you're talking about that Naomi fool.
Not a fan of comic books, and
neither is anybody who read Naomi.
Tragic. I read Naomi, but that was tragic. And we have Pat Jenkins, who gave us what 1984 Wonder Woman, and her argument was, I'm not a big fan. I don't know much about Wonder Woman. So, I mean, it's just a cautionary tale of when you decide to give something to someone that has a lot of nostalgic, a lot of rules, a lot of, fans, you need to be careful on who you decide to give that to.
I will say the only saving grace, or the only reason that I am wholeheartedly in support of what Star Wars and what they're doing in that franchise right now, is because at long last they have put two people in charge that are diehard fans and fantastic storytellers between Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Kathleen Kennedy has said, "Hey, I executive produce everything. You two super nerds, you're in charge of building this universe." And so if they have at least said, "Hey, we've seen what this young lady is bringing to the table, we're green lighting it," I can only hope that it has the Dave Filoni stamp of approval, because right now, even still, if you watch like this final season of The Bad Batch, it is some of the best Star Wars storytelling ever. Love it or hate it, all of the series that we've got, the only misdirection that we've got, the only really shitty thing we've gotten since Filoni and Favreau took over is the pamphlet of Boba Fett. But everything else they've done has been great. Obi-Wan may not have ended in a way everyone liked, but it was still an enjoyable series that built the universe. Ahsoka built the universe. Mandalorian built the universe in ways that were like, wow, there's some really mind-blowing shit that they're really doing in this. So I look, and then now moving to a portion of the Star Wars universe that's never been explored before, because this story takes us back to the Old Republic for the very first time. This is the dawn of the Jedi and the story of the very first Sith, and how the master and the apprentice came to be in Star Wars story lore. So I'm curious to see the story, because we've never heard of it. It has nothing to do with it. This is what, some 200 years before Luke, Leia, Vader, any of that. So
Right.
they don't have to be encumbered by that. But it does give
I
me
think it's like 1,000 years. I thought it was like a millennia.
I'm just, if you're not a fan, I'm worried about what Liz said. Like, you at least got to be a fan of the damn franchise. You can't be like, I don't know anything. I'm just coming in doing a movie.
And Ava DuVernay was supposed to do Black Panther. So,
and I'm glad she did not.
Under her guidance, she was like, I don't think I'm a good person to do this story. I wish she would have did that to Naomi too.
Yeah, God bless her soul.
Nothing was going to save Naomi.
Nothing was.
I know, but at least Naomi started off and didn't even know who Superman was. Like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Episode one.
It wasn't a good idea to introduce a character like that when you don't have the television rights to. I mean, you can't slice off. You could do that with the Milestone universe, because the Milestone universe before it got folded into DC, was its own pocket. So you didn't have a Superman, you didn't have anything like that. You had a measure of different analogs of some of the big characters in the Milestone universe when it was off. And now they basically just drug Static and Icon and Rocket into the mainstream DC universe and left the entire rest of the universe to die, which kind of pissed me off because I loved the Milestone universe. Yeah. But she came in with that series at a time when superhero fatigue was just beginning to set in and nobody really liked the DCEU anyway. And, Supergirl and the Flash and Arrow had already gone off television, and Defenders of Tomorrow, whatever the hell that other spinoff show was on its last leg. So you didn't really have
Legends
of Tomorrow, whatever the hell they were. The forgotten legends of yesteryear. Plus, you have now this nobody character that nobody even really cares about. That you have a big name attached to it, but she's not good at sci-fi. So she can keep with the social commentary stuff and she can keep with the documentaries, but ain't nobody asking you for a superhero movie, girl. I'm glad New Gods got snatched from you. There's nothing you need to touch that's in that level of fantasy. Just keep it grounded, man. Because you're a genius in what you do. Go see Origin.
Stuff like that. That's her bread and butter. Outside of that, what y'all watching, Liz?
Wait a second. Hold on. We're not gonna make a comment. I know we skipped over Dune, which is fine, but are we not gonna make a comment on the fact that Sony has we need to put a pause on all these movies because of how bad Madam Web was?
No, look, Madam Web is what it was, but Sony's not stopping because they still
they stopped on Madam Web because Madam Web, they were supposed to come out with another Madam Web or another Madam.
No, they're not doing that.
And they were like,
but they're still doing Craven, aren't they?
Yeah, Craven comes out this year, and Venom 3 comes out this year.
Oh yeah,
so,
no, they haven't stopped. They're definitely not doing a sequel to Madam Web. Dakota Johnson says she won't do a sequel to Madam Web. Shit,
she sure is. She came out and was like, "Yeah, I don't know if."
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, no, the Sony, as long as they own the rights, they're going to make movies. And now they've also announced that they're moving forward with the next Spider-Verse film, so they're good. They're good. Yeah, they've worked all the differences out with them. So we'll get the next Spider-Verse film, Across the Spider-Verse. Sony's good with what they're coming out with because they never, ever, ever want to get to a point where they take too long of a pause and Marvel gets to snatch it back up. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because they still make a lot of money. As bad as Madam Web is, they made their money back, which is shocking. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
it was only a budget of 80 million. It's crossed 100 million.
Yeah,
well, but they're not getting all of that.
It's one of those things where it's not a loss for them. It's not a win, but they're like kind of like, okay, we're good. We're good.
Sell the television rights to someone and streaming rights, they'll be okay. They'll be okay.
Action figures, they're all right.
Yeah.
By the way, there is a new Spider-Verse TV YouTube that they're dropping at the end of the month.
For the
on YouTube, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's what I was talking about when I said that they're moving on with Spider-Verse. Yeah, they've got a whole channel you can subscribe to on YouTube TV that they will be offering Spider-Man shorts. So I'm like, okay, yeah, animated shorts. I'm like in preparation and leading up to. So they're trying to do something, and I think it's just pressure from Disney that's knocking on the door every 5 minutes. Like, so what's up with that Spider-Man? Why y'all?
Robert from LA is asking about the title of the Venom movie, which I don't even understand. I just don't get it.
I don't get the Venom movies, period. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like
what, The Last Dance?
Venom.
Yeah.
I don't get anything. It's all stupid. Like, to me, Sony literally doesn't care. And this is true because of a homegirl who used to be in charge over there, Pascal. I think it's Pascal. Was it Anna Pascal who was in charge of Amy Pascal? She literally has said she does not care about these superhero films. When Aviar, when the dude who did the first Venom film and all that, he came around and it was just like, I'm doing this Venom film because it's going to be great for Halloween costumes and toys. I don't care about these damn movies. And that's just what it is. They don't care. These are just money makers for them. And as bad as they are, they do make money. The Venom films have made money, so they're going to keep making them.
Well, maybe Venom is trying to get into Juilliard.
I thought they were going to have like Michael Jordan appear and, you know, talk about the Chicago Bulls.
I don't know. But if my boy Montel gets some music royalties because in the last sequence of the movie, Venom is doing an audition as a hip hop symbiote, dancing next to old boy, then I'm happy. I'm happy that he's gonna get a paycheck because I do not understand The Last Dance. Carnage, fine, I get Carnage, but the whole symbiote thing has grown. It was just one dude, and then two dudes, and then all of a sudden you got more symbiotes than you have spider people, and on Earth, and then you got the Null as the god of the original symbiote who also made the Necro Sword. I'm like, wait, he was just a parasite, and now he's like some great under god of the whole universe of the Marvel. I just don't get it.
You know who's in it, right? Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh, Ejiofor, yeah. In his second Marvel movie appearance.
Yes.
This
I don't want him in it.
Either do I.
Going in it.
That's right. It's gonna get some stank on him.
He's gonna get real stanky.
Maybe he's stealing magic because
he won't be Mordo.
Mortal Kombat.
He comes in this and is Baron Mortal, then I'm done. Look, when even Michael Keaton is like, hey, so everyone keeps asking me why I was in Morbius, and I've finally got an answer for you all. I don't know. I have no idea why they asked me to come and do that. I don't know what the point of that was.
Because they were trying to make the Sinister Six verse.
No, and he's like, but that's they were
hinting at it.
Like, I don't know why. I'm like, I'm not in any more film.
Something.
Right. Yeah. It was never going to happen. They just want to say, oh, there's connectivity to the whole Tom Holland.
Hey, remember this guy from that movie from 7 years ago?
Yeah.
He's here. It was literally like if you go look at the pitch meeting for Morbius, it was literally that. It was like studio head. Hey, that guy that was in the thing over there that made so much money, he should be in this film. And it's like, but there's no reason for he should be in this film. And that, there you go.
Because they think that's continuity when it really isn't.
They think that's continuity.
Yeah, no, there's no way that this Sony universe can last. Eventually, they're gonna have to go on and say, you know what? Fuck it, we'll give it all back to you, Marvel. Just make sure you cut us in. Make sure you cut us in.
They're going to get a Willie Lumpkin movie before they get to the end of their design. They have so many characters in the IP. They could, without wrinkling anybody's feathers and actually winning a lot of fans, they could do a Miles Morales movie. They could do a Spider-Man 2099 movie. They have all these different spiders. They could very easily do it.
Oh, yeah.
They could do breaking off, like Into the Spider-Verse 4 could be like the Morlun saga. Because you got all these spider people, and you could put Morlun in as the main villain, and then you've got something that people would actually be into.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're not going to do it because all they're trying to do is pimp the Peter Parker connection, and they're not exploring any of the things that they could do with all the other Spider-Men that nobody is really emotionally attached to.
And they should do that beyond, instead of focusing on villains, you know, because there's literally even talk of the next villain film after Kraven being and this character will be introduced in the Kraven film, Chameleon. They're talking about breaking off and doing a Chameleon film. Yes. And it's like one of those, why? No one cares about Chameleon. No one cares.
He
But they
dressed
own the
up,
IP.
he dressed up in outfits. You're dumb, Sony. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Everybody has,
Chameleon's
every
supposed to be
superhero
introduced in this
film has
Craven
better
film.
and more convincing visual effects to completely make a guy who has to put on makeup and wigs and take off his sunglasses. Nobody is going to care. They're going to actually have to have him have the superpower of being able to change his appearance.
They're gonna have to. That's the only way it works. I mean, he is introduced in Craven, so we will see how this is supposed to spin off. But yeah, we're supposed to see Chameleon in Craven, and we will be getting a Chameleon film. Look, I don't know why they were doing a tarantula film. Who wanted that? Who's asking for that?
Is that still in the works?
Supposedly, Bad Bunny, like when he was last asked about it, he's like, it's still in the
Bad
works.
Bunny just had to cancel one of his dates. I think maybe the Bad Bunny train is maybe slowing down a little bit. Poor ticket sales. Oh, listen, this Sony Spider-Verse don't make no kind of sense.
No.
It's really dumb. And I don't know that anybody's gonna go see Craven Chameleon because and then this dude's trying to also be James Bond. Stop it.
Well, that could cut one of two ways. No, I mean the Aaron Taylor Johnson thing that could either help Craven or hurt Bond. One of the two.
Hurt Bond.
Yeah, it's not going to be Bond.
Because if that movie bombs, which it more likely than not will, that doesn't help him starting off the Bond franchise.
And there's already an online petition to get rid of him.
That's right. Because he's Jewish.
The whatchamacallit.
He's Jewish. Part of his family's Jewish. And
that means
going back to Ian Fleming. Yes. And now, if you know anything about Ian Fleming, who's thought to be
sketchy on the bigotry.
Yeah.
Oh.
With a golden eye.
Yeah.
Oh. That's too bad.
And so when you look at the whole anti-Idris Elba Bond thing and the purity test for Bond, and you look at it through the Ian Fleming lens, it makes a hell of a lot more sense than just looking at it on the strength of, he's just a British secret agent who is almost never played by a British actor.
Right.
Yeah. I look. That's shameful. What? Yeah. Shit. Liz, what you watching?
Well, I'm actually watching a few things.
How many of them are on Apple Plus?
Actually, I'm watching a lot of stuff on Apple Plus.
How do we know?
They have on Apple Plus, they have a show called Manhunt that deals with trying to find the John Booth.
Oh, right.
That is so good. And they also have, thinking about bigotry, they do have a show that is currently dealing with Christian Dior and Chanel. And Chanel, that deal, which is really fascinating because I know about Chanel being, she claims that she wasn't a Nazi sympathizer, but anyway, it's an interesting show for sure. I think it's Industry or something like that. But anyway, there was a cute little cartoon that nobody's watching, and I think people should watch on Disney Plus called Uwaju.
I just saw that. I saw my first ad for that.
The Nigerian animated series?
Yes, it's really, really good.
Okay.
And then also in the movies, nobody's watching this either. Just like I thought that people should have seen The Book of Clarence. Really a good movie. The album is really good. I like it. I really, really do like it. I thought it was really well put together.
I like the Knights over Egypt scene.
Well, I thought it was clever. And part of it is maybe because I went to a college where we had to study the Bible a lot. Anyway, I also thought the American Society of
Magical Negroes.
Negroes.
I will not watch that on
Horrible.
title
I will
alone.
not watch that with your eyes.
Okay, I'm saying that the title is horrible, but I actually thought that the movie was a lot better than what I expected. And it was leaning into the whole notion of us being the magical Negro in the show as a sidekick.
Yeah, I know what it's about, and I will never watch it on the strength of the title alone. You obviously, if you name something like that, you're not trying to get a lot of people to watch it. I won't.
I thought it was good.
And I know what it's about. I know everything what it's about. I refuse.
I will say this because I just want. I'm watching The Gentleman, which I'm really enjoying on Netflix, and I'm also binging Suits. I will say this about the American Society for Magical Negroes. I think just on the title alone and from the extended trailer that I saw that kind of really outlines what the movie is about, it's trying to do a lot, which is what I thought Book of Clarence was trying to do. And Book of Clarence veered so wildly within the confines of its own 2-hour plus runtime between being satire, but also kind of irreverent, car washy, just type ghetto vibes, plus an examination of religion versus myth and all of these things. And it ended up not being any of those things. And I respected what he was trying to do in the way that I respected Honk for Jesus and some other films that tried to do something different cinematically. And outside of the Knights Over Egypt scene, which I love just because I love the it was a great song.
I love that song.
I love this song. And I was like, but they're literally doing solid gold dance moves in a Soul Train line in like Jerusalem. Anyway, I let it go because I enjoyed the hell out of that song. But a lot of it tonally was just, it was all over the place for me. And so I didn't enjoy it. However, what I will say is that The Gentleman is on the opposite side of that. Guy Ritchie is a very kinetic filmmaker from his earliest days. He makes these big, loud, British, crime-centered movies, and sometimes they hold together, sometimes they don't, especially when they're overstuffed with a huge cast and, it just starts getting out of control. However, with The Gentleman, because it's a series, he can take longer times to breathe. The characters can grow into who they are, so you begin to develop a relationship with them. And I'm really enjoying it. Plus, Giancarlo Esposito is in it, which is always kind of a good thing for me. And the settings are amazing. And the British crime stuff is a lot more palatable when it doesn't have to be at a breakneck pace to get a movie in under 2 hours. So I think it's like 8 or maybe even 10 episodes. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it. And I'm also looking forward to the next episode of X-Men 97. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through the last 4 seasons of Suits, but that's what I'm doing.
What you got, Mo?
Actually, I have started season 2 of Tokyo Vice series with Ken Watanabe on Max. Really enjoyed that. It ended poorly because it seemed like, I don't know if it was originally filmed during COVID and then they had some cost overrun issues or something, because it ended very abruptly. And I didn't know if they were even going to get a second season. And all of a sudden I realized they have a second season. So I'm doing that. And also 3 Body Problem on Netflix. I'm starting tonight.
So I've heard some interesting, I heard it kind of holds together until episode 6. And the last 2 episodes are
and it's kind of hard for me to do sci-fi series for that reason. I'd rather just have one contiguous movie package and move on. Series can be uneven. You have some filler episodes or loses its way, but I'll give it a shot.
All right. Shit. For me, it's all about anime, and quite possibly the greatest anime series introduced in so long is called Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is absolutely insane, and it is gripping. Every episode is a cliffhanger. It is effing amazing. Another series that we've caught on to is Shangri-La Frontier. Shangri-La Frontier, another great series. Both Solo Leveling and Shangri-La Frontier, they flip the idea of playing video games kind of on their head. Like while Solo Leveling, there's a lot of, if you play video games, there's a lot of video game based action and play in the story, while Shangri-La Frontier is about a kid who is playing a video game, and it kind of takes the idea of virtual reality to a whole nother level. But on Max, there is a new anime series on Max, and it is one of the most violent, bloodiest ninja based anime series I've seen in forever. It's Ninja Kamui. Ninja Kamui, Kamui, and it is, man, first episode, blood everywhere, death everywhere, and then more death, and you absolutely gotta love it. I mean,
is it better than Blue Eye Samurai?
It take Blue Eye Samurai and put it into a futuristic setting.
Okay,
put it into a world where Amazon has taken over the world with its intrusion into every aspect of life, where a super tech company is providing everything that you need in the world, and then throw in ninjas who have become more mainstream. They're more on a Yakuza level, and they're real businessmen. And then shit goes to pot, and you got to start getting rid of a lot of ninjas who don't want to buy into the new way of doing ninjutsu, and a lot of people trying to hold on to it. So you got to eliminate them, and they fucked with the wrong ninja. Okay, they went back, fucked with the wrong ninja, and now everyone's got to die. And he's killing everybody, and it is a glorious, bloody mess.
What's that one called again?
Ninja Kamui. It's Kamui. It's on Max. It's probably the only thing that's keeping this Max subscription going. Seriously.
Okay.
It is woo. I'm saying, like, without that, I'm like, Max may have to go. But now I'm like, oh, another episode is coming on. I'll watch it. But Max is on the precipice of getting dropped, because I don't know what else is on Max even worth me keeping.
Okay, Ninja Kamui.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully we do not have another 3-month break in between the next episode. But I can assure you this, Dr. Liz from the Freeway, make sure. Oh, hey, no, seriously.
Deadpool for sure.
Deadpool is absolute. Deadpool's absolute, and we also will have some round tableage going around the Acolyte. King Kong is not worth me getting up on video for. I don't even want to that film. I hate the idea of the film being made. I hate everything about it, and I haven't seen it at all. I didn't like that last film so much. And here's the thing. I bought tickets to go see it just to torture folks, just to torture people. I cannot stand the idea of, is that a baby Kong? Dude, I'm out. I'm already out. I already want to leave the theater, and I'm not there. I already want to leave.
I can't. We did a whole special, stayed up till midnight to talk about it, or 2:00 in the morning to talk about King Kong.
It's not happening again. The Acolyte is coming in just a few weeks with the first episode. You'll have some more X-Men 97 by then, so we'll be back before you know.
And Mo's favorite show is coming back too.
Which one?
The Kingdom of the Apes. Is it
my favorite show?
The Rise of the Apes.
It's a movie, number one, and it never was my favorite.
I'm just joking.
Look, I'm not gonna go see that. I'm sorry. There are certain things that I know I don't have to go see. I know I don't have to go see the Ape movie. I don't have to see the Ape.
Let's come out in May though, but no.
I still can't understand the premise of them like, ooh, there's humans. I'm struggling with that, but to each his own.
No, it's real simple. I can tell you this. It's set in the future, and they've rewritten history where apes have always been dominant, and they are using, like the original, the humans are catching humans, using them as slaves. You know, the whole allegory thing,
and they find one smart human, and it's
right,
like,
who can
what?
talk.
It's almost to the point where how if we humans in the original of the films, and you had the one ape who got smart, and we're like, what the fuck, this ape is talking, and all of a sudden he started rising up and doing stuff.
No, but that was the original
That's
movies.
the
I
original
know,
premise.
with Charlton
I
Heston.
know that, but I'm saying that the last three movies with the same font, the same look, was telling us a whole different story, and so now
it's the same
all
story.
leading to this.
Yeah, it's just a time jump.
Right. When they came to the movie after the one that Mark Wahlberg was in,
right, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. But when they relaunched these, they launched it in the present day, leading up to the point where the apes took over. And so Caesar was the only smart one, and then Caesar started to influence the other ones, and it. But that wasn't where the movie started. The movie started with Charlton Heston coming back from a time warp or whatever to the planet Earth, not realizing it was Earth. And then all of the subsequent movies were more or less moving forward from there. They prequel rejumped or rebooted Planet of the Apes to start at the beginning of the story, just like Day One, A Quiet Place, Day One is taking us all the way back to the beginning so that we can see more aliens that we never really got to see.
Oh, I do want to see that. Oh,
well, I mean, I'm in for Lupita Nyong'o. So
it's like, that looks dope. And now I will watch that, and then I could watch the other films in sequential order.
Now, I this is going to sound racist, but I always wanted to see how we were going to deal with the aliens, because we can't be quiet about shit. Shoot that motherfucker!
No, Diamond Hansu had to clap his hand over Lupita's face. That's what I was saying.
Stop talking.
And then the next was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna shut up."
No, black folks though in the Quiet Place, right?
No,
not in the first two.
Quiet Place Day One.
Yeah,
I get that. So my point is that y'all all gone. Is this supposed to be?
No.
In the sequel, in
the first one, you're only around like one family. You're getting a very, very microscopic look. You're not, and in the second one, they broadened it out to like a town.
Right.
And this, I think, they'll show the world. Yeah, but I'm saying you don't get a real sense of the scope of the invasion.
No, it stayed very small because you had to be quiet.
I won't be watching.
I'm down.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it, seriously. But I would watch in the order that they've been released.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, you don't get the part of the magic of the first one is your bare understanding of what's going on. That kind of helps because you got a child who is hearing impaired. You've got, so you're understanding that there's a whole lot going on, and you understand that how important it is for quiet. And you need a quiet place, I think, to establish the universe. It's not going to be as impactful if you watch it out of order.
Okay. Interesting. All right, I'll do that. I know the other two are streaming somewhere. I get them.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I get them. They might be on Max. There might be another reason for me to keep them.
I think they are, as a matter of fact. I think it might be a Warner Brothers property.
I think they might be on Max, so I'll go back and watch those. But all right,
I'll watch at least one episode of Ninja Kamui tonight.
Look, watch it, dude. If you want some violence in your life, watch it.
I'm good with
violence, blood, gore, nudity. It's got all the beauty of Blue Eye Samurai. It's just set in a future tense setting, kind of like, in the very near future, near, like 2030, I think, is 2030, 2035, but it's got that sci-fi anime kind of look, city of the future, but it's not really the city of the future because shit ain't working for everybody, and ninjas. I'm talking like the type of slicing folks in half, and you see the body split as the sword's going down with the organs and everything falling out. It's that kind of good ninja shit.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Liz, you'll love it. Don't watch it with the
No.
kids. Don't watch it with
No.
the kids.
No.
All right, y'all. With no Anthony or McBain, Liz, it is up to you to take us out.
Something Strange in the Neighborhood.
I love it. Bo Kelly.
Fuck Roadhouse.
Tom.
Where is my proton pack suit?
Excelsior. I love it.